Horrid Henry is often viewed as a mischievous troublemaker whose antics amuse children. However, a deeper analysis reveals that his behavior is not merely a reflection of his personality, but rather a manifestation of the neglect and emotional abuse he suffers at the hands of his parents. This theory posits that Henry's horridness is rooted in a toxic family environment where he is consistently devalued and mistreated, leading to his rebellious and disruptive behavior.
Mum wants to know if you're doing your homework.
Go away, worm.
That means you're not doing your homework. Mum!
I am writing to beg you for your advice and help.
"Don't be horrid, Henry," is the phrase we've all heard countless times from Horrid Henry's mom. It's a staple of the series, a reminder of her constant reprimands and corrections. But what if this seemingly innocent scolding hides something much darker? What if Henry's mom harbors genuine disdain for her elder son, deliberately favoring Peter, the perfect little angel? While it might seem like an exaggeration to suggest that a parent could hate their child, the evidence from Horrid Henry paints a troubling picture. In this video, I aim to demonstrate how Henry's mom exhibits behavior that goes beyond tough love, behavior that borders on outright favoritism and even neglect.
And mean, horrible parents who are always nagging me to do my homework. So, what I want to know, what homework did you have to do to be a rock star? Thanking you in advance, your biggest fan, Henry.
Let's break this down, step by step, and analyze the evidence.
Yeah! Zero zombie Henry!
In Season 3, Episode 3, titled Rockstar, the scene opens with Henry doing his homework while listening to rock music, a rare moment where Henry is actually being responsible. However, when his mom enters the room, her immediate reaction is one of disapproval. Despite Henry's attempts to multitask, she dismisses his efforts and sarcastically comments, "Henry, you're supposed to be doing your homework." Henry replies, "I am doing my homework, Rockstar's homework." While this exchange begins as lighthearted, her response takes a much harsher turn.
Rock stars don't do homework, Henry.
Cool. So, I don't have to do homework?
Henry, you are not a rock star, and you never will be. So the sooner you get that idea out of your head and get on with your homework, the better. And stop drumming!
"Henry, you are not a rock star, and you never will be," she says. This moment stands out because it highlights her dismissive attitude toward Henry's aspirations. Could you imagine her responding this way if Peter expressed a desire to become, say, a doctor or a lawyer? It's doubtful. Instead of encouraging Henry to explore his interests, she shuts him down, reinforcing the idea that his dreams are invalid. This moment serves as the first glimpse into her pattern of discouraging Henry while openly supporting Peter. Furthermore, this isn't an isolated incident. Throughout the series, whenever Henry shows interest in something, whether it's becoming a rock star, a footballer, or even a chef, his mom is quick to dismiss or mock him. It's as if she's determined to ensure Henry never feels supported or validated.
If I hear you doing that one more time... Right, that's it, Henry. You're grounded. No buts, Henry. You will stay in every night this week and do your homework.
One of the most glaring examples of Henry's mom's questionable behavior occurs in Season 1, Episode 29, Happy Birthday, Peter. In this episode, a clown chooses Henry from the audience to participate in a magic trick where he's disappeared. Instead of reacting with concern or even mild amusement, Henry's mom claps enthusiastically and shouts, "Bravo! Bravo!" Her over-the-top reaction is so extreme that even moody Margaret, Henry's nemesis, looks shocked.
"I shall now attempt to make this clever little boy disappear."
Bravo! Bravo! Oh, lovely.
This moment raises an uncomfortable question. Was she genuinely thrilled at the idea of Henry disappearing? While the scene is played for laughs, it's hard to ignore the implications. Her exaggerated applause suggests that she finds the idea of Henry's absence not only amusing but possibly desirable. This reaction is particularly disturbing when you compare it to how she would likely react if Peter were the one who disappeared. Can you imagine her cheering and clapping if Peter was chosen for the trick? It's almost guaranteed she'd be demanding the clown bring him back immediately. One of the most blatant examples of favoritism occurs in the book Don't Be Horrid, Henry. In this story, Peter draws on the walls, creating a massive mess. Despite the fact that Henry wasn't responsible and even tried to stop Peter, he's the one who gets blamed. His mom insists that he should have stopped Peter, effectively punishing him for something he didn't do.
I get sent to my room a lot.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
It is useless to resist.
You really are horrid, Henry.
This scenario is particularly revealing because it highlights the double standard in how Henry and Peter are treated.
No! Funfair! Look! A funfair! I want to go! Can I? You're not going anywhere, Henry. Not after that school report.
Peter, the perfect little angel, can do no wrong in his mom's eyes. Even when he clearly misbehaves, she finds a way to shift the blame onto Henry. This pattern of scapegoating not only undermines Henry's confidence, but also reinforces the idea that his mom sees him as inherently horrid, regardless of his actual behavior. Perhaps the most shocking example of Henry's mom's neglect occurs in Season 1, Episode 45, Trapped. In this episode, Henry ends up in the hospital after heroically saving Peter from a falling shelf. Despite his selfless act, his mom doesn't stay with him overnight at the hospital. Instead, she presumably returns home, leaving Henry to recover alone. This moment is particularly disturbing because it raises serious questions about her priorities as a parent. What kind of mom wouldn't stay with her child in the hospital after such a traumatic event? Her absence suggests a lack of concern for Henry's well-being, further cementing the idea that she values Peter's safety and comfort far more than Henry's.
Mom! Help! Mom! Mom!
Henry, Mum can't hear you. She's gardening. We could be here for hours.
Hours?
In Season 3, Episode 37, Horrid Boy, Henry's mom's behavior takes an even darker turn. In this episode, she blatantly ignores Henry's basic needs, effectively starving him. This moment not only highlights her lack of care, but also violates Henry's rights as outlined in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Every child has the right to adequate food and care, yet Henry's mom seems indifferent to this fundamental responsibility.
But Mum, there's a demon dinner lady at school and she's taking all our treats.
Oh, that's nice. Night-night.
The question remains, why does Henry's mom treat him this way? Unfortunately, the series offers little insight into their past. There's no clear explanation for her extreme favoritism toward Peter or her apparent disdain for Henry. Some fans have speculated that Henry's mischievous behavior might have worn her down over time, leading to her current attitude. Others suggest that Peter's status as the golden child has created an imbalance in the family dynamic. One particularly telling detail is the painting that hangs on the fridge, a picture drawn by Peter. The painting depicts Peter holding hands with Mom and Dad, while Henry stands alone, frowning. This subtle visual cue speaks volumes about the family's dynamic. It suggests that even Peter recognizes Henry's exclusion, reinforcing the idea that he is not as accepted or valued as his younger brother.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Why not? The most important thing in my life and you won't take me!
That's enough, Henry.
Ultimately, the question of whether Henry's mom truly hates him is open to interpretation. On one hand, her behavior could be seen as an extreme form of tough love, a misguided attempt to discipline Henry and encourage better behavior. On the other hand, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests a deeper, more troubling dynamic. From crushing his dreams to celebrating his disappearance, her actions often cross the line into outright cruelty.
Henry!
It was Peter's fault! He sprayed me!
Don't tell lies, Henry.
It's true. I sprayed him.
Well, Henry, you should have got out of the way when Peter was watering the flowers.
What's the big idea?
From the very beginning, it is evident that Henry's parents exhibit a clear favoritism towards his younger brother, Perfect Peter. This favoritism is not subtle. It permeates their interactions and decisions. Henry's parents often praise Peter for his good behavior, while simultaneously berating Henry for his perceived faults. This constant comparison fosters an environment where Henry feels inadequate and unloved. The phrase, "Don't be horrid, Henry," becomes a refrain that not only criticizes him, but also reinforces the idea that he must strive to meet an unattainable standard set by Peter. Their inability to recognize or appreciate Henry's individuality contributes significantly to his feelings of worthlessness.
Don't be horrid, Henry. You love dancing. You dance around the house all the time.
That's not the same. Anyway, I want to go to karate instead.
Don't start that again, Henry. You're doing ballet and that's that.
The emotional neglect Henry experiences is profound. His parents rarely acknowledge his achievements or interests, focusing instead on Peter's successes. This pattern of neglect extends beyond just praise. It manifests in their harsh disciplinary methods. Rather than addressing the underlying causes of Henry's behavior, they resort to yelling and punitive measures that further alienate him. Such treatment not only fails to correct his actions, but also exacerbates his feelings of anger and resentment towards them.
I am so ashamed of you. This is positively the last wedding I am ever taking you to.
The consequences of this toxic parenting style are evident in Henry's behavior. He acts out not simply because he is inherently horrid, but as a response to the emotional turmoil within his home. The lack of positive reinforcement from his parents leads him to believe that the only way to gain attention is through misbehavior. In many episodes, when Henry attempts to express himself or engage in activities he enjoys, he is met with disapproval or outright dismissal from his parents. This cycle creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where Henry becomes increasingly defiant and unruly as he seeks any form of recognition.
Henry, you haven't forgotten Steve's birthday tea party on Saturday, have you?
But the cup final's on Saturday.
I know. That's why I'm reminding you. We're going to Aunt Ruby's for tea.
But Mum!
Another striking aspect of Henry's family dynamic is the hypocrisy displayed by his parents. They impose strict rules on Henry while allowing Peter to engage in similar behaviors without consequence. For example, when Peter misbehaves or provokes Henry, their parents often look the other way, reinforcing the notion that only Henry is responsible for any discord between them. This double standard breeds resentment in Henry, who feels unjustly punished for actions that go unaddressed when committed by Peter. Henry's interactions with authority figures extend beyond his home life. They also include teachers and school staff who fail to recognize the signs of distress he exhibits. His teachers often view him solely through the lens of his reputation as horrid, overlooking the potential reasons behind his actions. Consequently, this lack of understanding perpetuates a cycle where Henry feels isolated and misunderstood both at home and at school. As a result of this toxic environment, Henry's self-identity becomes intertwined with the label of being horrid. He internalizes this perception and begins to act in ways that align with it, further solidifying his role as the family scapegoat. This identity crisis can lead to long-term psychological effects, including low self-esteem and difficulty forming healthy relationships in the future.
No! Henry, go to your room now!
Parents and caregivers must recognize the impact their behavior has on their children's development. In Horrid Henry's case, intervention could take many forms, whether through family therapy or simply adopting more nurturing parenting techniques. By addressing their own biases and learning to appreciate each child's unique qualities, parents can foster an environment where all children feel valued and supported.
We've come up with a new plan to save energy, Henry. You're banned from TV, DVD, PC, and anything electrical for a whole year.
That'll save 59 million megawatts!
It's just not fair!
One of the most significant aspects of the Horrid Henry hate theory is the role that favoritism plays in shaping Henry's personality and actions. From a young age, Henry experiences a stark contrast in how his parents treat him compared to his younger brother, Perfect Peter. This favoritism creates an environment where Henry feels undervalued and constantly compared to Peter, who is celebrated for his perfect behavior. As a result, Henry's attempts to gain his parents' approval often lead to rebellious behavior, as he seeks attention through mischief rather than positive achievements. The theory suggests that if his parents had provided a more balanced approach to parenting, acknowledging both children's strengths and weaknesses, Henry might have developed a healthier self-image and lessened his need to act out. Emotional neglect is another critical factor in understanding Henry's horrid behavior. His parents' lack of support and understanding leaves him feeling isolated and unworthy. They often dismiss his feelings and interests, focusing instead on Peter's accomplishments. This neglect can lead to feelings of anger, resentment, and confusion in children as they struggle to comprehend why they are not receiving the same love and attention as their siblings. The theory posits that this emotional void contributes significantly to Henry's identity as the horrid child. He internalizes this label and acts accordingly. Furthermore, the neglect has long-term consequences on Henry's mental health, potentially leading to issues such as low self-esteem and difficulty forming healthy relationships in the future.